Our first story, government has sought the assistance of the French, Ivorian and U.S. governments to enable it undertake a comprehensive investigation into the recent aircraft accident that occurred in Takoradi on May 8 this year. Minister of Transport Jifar Tivo, to this effect, has inaugurated a 5-member committee to work with investigators from the 3 countries to establish the probable cause of the accident and to make recommendations to forestall any future occurrence.
The terms of reference for the investigation are as follows: to establish the probable cause or causes of the accident, to determine the extent of fatalities and injuries, to establish the extent of losses or damage to property, to consider other issues relevant to the interests of safety, make recommendations to forestall any future occurrence, and also to come out with a preliminary report within 30 working days. The committee is permitted to co-opt any other person or persons or experts as they deem it fit to assist in the investigation.
Officials also confirmed there was still no word about the only person still missing from the crash, but promised to speed up investigations into the matter to address the situation. The 5-member committee is chaired by retired pilots Victor Opoku and officials from the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority.
Government will very soon introduce a controlled environment agriculture training, also known as Envirodome greenhouse system, into the curriculum of various agri colleges and institutions in the country in order to expose them to ways of producing much safer and quality vegetables. Speaking at the official exhibition of the Envirodome greenhouse system at Akumening Kade in the Nchembo district of the Eastern region, President John Dramani Mahama was optimistic the initiative will spark an agricultural revolution that will enhance Ghana's export potential.
The project comes in the wake of growing concerns about the negative impacts of fruit flies and other plant pests and diseases on Ghana's food crops, making them unable to meet international standards on the world market. Currently, Ghana cannot export fruit to the United States because it does not meet the set international standards. The Forest and Horticultural Crops Research Center of the University of Ghana and Stevenson Ventures Limited have solutions to make Ghana's fruit export market boom. Envirodome greenhouse system is the solution. President John Dramani Mahama, who inspected the center together with his entourage, lauded the initiative and promised to spread it across the length and breadth of the country.
It's a landmark event, and it's going to contribute to the revolution of agriculture in our country. And many years from now, when we have this technology all over the country, and Ghana's production of vegetables and horticultural products has increased phenomenally, we will all remember that one day we assembled here in Okumening and that this is where it all began.
He challenged the people of Akumening Kede to move away from the traditional way of farming to a much more scientific way of crop and animal production.
We must encourage young, educated people to go into the business of agriculture. 1, in order to increase food production, and 2, to create jobs and businesses for our young people. The world's population is growing, and we're told that we must move from our traditional mentality of agriculture to a science-based commercial mentality. Ghana has a role to contribute to this food security.
Head of the center, Professor K.G. Ofosubudu, highlighted how the system works and the need for government to partner the University of Ghana in that direction.
The Envirodome greenhouse is not simply an ordinary greenhouse, but it has been specially designed, customized to suit the environments of tropical cleanliness. If you come to the monetary terms, one Envirodome can give you 6,000 kilos times 5, which is 30,000 Ghana cedis from one Envirodome. And you can do 2 cropping cycles, which is giving us 60,000 Ghana cedis.
Okumeni Hene Osaberema Edujemfi pledged the community's support to government and further appealed to President John Dramani Mahama to repair the deplorable road network in the area to facilitate easy transportation of farm produce to market centers. Minister for Food and Agriculture Kofi Humado, who re-echoed the sentiments of the president, assured government support for graduates of the Envirodome greenhouse system training to set up their own projects.
ECOWAS intelligence chiefs are meeting here in Accra as a follow-up to an earlier call by current ECOWAS chairman, Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama. President Mahama had called for the meeting to discuss how to tackle terrorism, especially the activities of Boko Haram in Nigeria. The meeting is expected to invoke the ECOWAS protocols on counter-terrorism and adopt a strategic plan to assist Nigeria clamp down on Boko Haram and rescue the over 200 schoolgirls kidnapped by the Islamist group. Ghana's Foreign Minister Hannah Tete, National Security Advisor W.K. Aboa, and Interior Minister Kwesi Ahoy and the Inspector General of Police Mohamed Alassane are part of the Ghana team, whilst President of the ECOWAS Commission Kadre Desire Ouedraogo, as well as intelligence chiefs of Cameroon and Chad are also attending. 300 school children in Tamale have joined the global campaign for the release of the over 200 schoolgirls abducted by Boko Haram in northern Nigeria. The school children, with support from Savannah Signatures, a non-governmental organization in Tamale, have petitioned the President, John Dramani Mahama, through the Northern Regional Coordinating Council to demand that the Nigerian government and the economic community of West African states step up efforts for the release of their peers.
Carrying placards with inscriptions, "Bring back our sisters," the school children marched to the Northern Regional Library where they presented their petition. It was received by the Northern Regional Director of the Ghana Education Service, Paula Panga, on behalf of the Northern Regional Minister for onward submission to the President. A student of the Tiyumba Junior High School, Thelma Mahama, who read their petition, impressed upon President Mahama as chairman of ECOWAS and the Nigerian government to act decisively to ensure the safe return of their colleagues in Nigeria.
We, the third girls, see the abduction of our peers as an act of slavery and a threat to innocent life before our very eyes. It is of absolute importance and urgency that they are released.
The Northern Regional Director of the Ghana Education Service assured the children their petition will be forwarded to the President for redress.
The situation that has happened to all of us across the world, especially this Nigerian issue, is unfortunate. It is unacceptable and it should be condemned.
Some of the school children who spoke to Joy News said they felt scared when they first heard the news of the abduction of the schoolgirls.
Now, students of the Accra Polytechnic risk not sitting for the end of semester exams in the next 3 weeks if government does not immediately address the concerns of the Polytechnic Teachers Association. The Polytechnic teachers started a nationwide strike over what they described as government's refusal to pay their book and research allowance for the 2013-2014 academic year.
It is 3 weeks to the start of the end of semester exams, and students of the Accra Polytechnic, although are preparing feverishly for their respective papers, are still not clear in their minds as to whether indeed they'll be writing their exams or not.
In such situations, normally what we do tell students is that they shouldn't forget their books. They should keep stick to their book. They should keep learning. Anything can happen. It could be that today they will call off the strike. It doesn't mean that you say you are being reluctant because the strike action. And we also encourage them not to also be doing anything otherwise. That is to say, maybe lectures have gone on strike, so therefore we also want to do demonstration and all that. It normally doesn't solve the problem.
SRC President of the Institute, Daniel Osewusu, said although the Student Representative Council are aware of the intended strike by POTAC, they are yet to receive any official notification about the strike, but have not relented in their quest to encourage students to continue studying.
Unofficially, So far as SRC we are concerned, and we've not received any official notice from them that they've gone on strike. So now we're hoping to get any report or from the head of PUTAC that officially they are declaring their strike action. That is where then we will know the next action to take.
President of the Accra Polytechnic branch of PUTAC, Michael Ado, said the strike has become necessary because of government's apparent indifference to their complaints regarding the payment of their book and research allowance for the 2013-2014 academic year.
The tertiary education promotion is based on publication. If you teach here for 100 years, you don't publish, you can be here for 100 years and deteriorate and go on retirement. The only way one could be promoted, the main area, is for an individual to publish. Everybody in the country who knows something about academia is aware that we are promoted through, publication. And the publication goes with this research money, book and research allowance. Part is taken for the research. If I want to collect some data, at let's say, Kufurdia, and I can't go and I'm sending somebody, he must pay for the transport. He must eat and go and come. If he stay there 3 days, he'll be in a hotel. You can't just start publishing. You need some underground work to be done.
He said it was unfortunate the strike was happening at a time students were about to sit for their end of semester exams, but indicated that considering the circumstances, the timing was the best.
It is becoming a norm that every year, unless we go on strike before the government pays, if you remember that. And I don't think it is very fair. If something is all right, we should be paid at least when it's time. This money should have been paid at least middle of the academic year. And we are left with only 1 month. Accra Poly will start the exams next month. Then the semester ends. The second semester ends, which means the end of the academic year. Nothing has been done. So we think if we don't act, the academic year will end and nothing will be done. Now that even school is in session, look at the way they are tossing us. So it's not strategic that because they are about to take exams, we are doing this to frustrate parents.
They have decided to boycott Saturday's SWAG Awards over the exclusion of defender Ruben Nyani from their nominations. The Phobians are suspecting foul play over Nyani's drop and have written to SWAG to indicate their intent.
Hearts of Oak have decided to boycott Saturday's Sports Writers Association Awards over the exclusion of defender Ruben Nyani from their nominations. The Ivorian import was initially amongst the nominees for the Premier League Player of the Year category, which will be awarded by broadcasting giant SuperSports. Nyani's name was, however, nowhere to be found when the final nomination list was announced for the award ceremony, which will take place at the State Banquet Hall in Accra on Saturday. The Phobians are suspecting foul play over Nyani's drop and have thus decided to boycott the event. SWAG General Secretary William Izar confirmed to Joy Sports his outfit had received a letter from Hearts of Oak to that effect. According to SWAG, Nyani was initially nominated, but then the process had not ended, and therefore dropping him from the final nomination ought to be no surprise. Hearts of Oak have had the privilege of winning the Premier League Player of the Year award when Obed Ansah and Mahatma Otu won it some few years ago. The awards is an annual event organized by the Sports Writers Association of Ghana to reward deserving personalities in the calendar year. Ghana coach Kwesi Appiah is gunning for the flagship Sports Personality of the Year award following his historic qualification to the 2014 World Cup with the Black Stars.
All right, so that's it for us. Thank you very much, George. But just to be sure that Bukum Bankun doesn't walk into the studio here.
He's not going to come here. He's not going to come
just go down and make sure security is stepped up.
I'll check still. But even if he comes, we're going to allow him to have that interview. It helps the fight, doesn't it?
All right, thank you. And that's it for the bulletin. Before we go, though, a quick run through our top stories. Participants of the National Economic Forum released Senchi Consensus, which among others is calling for an urgent review of targets contained in 2014 budget. President Mahama has endorsed the outcome and ensured government is committed to taking the next steps towards implementation. Graduate teachers also announced strike less than 24 hours after a similar action by polytechnic teachers comes into effect. 5-member committee tasked to investigate helicopter crash offshore Cape 3 points in the Western region to seek French, Ivorian and US expertise. And Bukum Banku involved in brawl hours before his highly anticipated bout with Tranley comes off tonight. That's it for the bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Israel Lai. Have a good evening.